The ancient trial where no one was allowed to speak. In the ancient world, justice didn't always depend on evidence. Sometimes it depended on silence. In ancient Sparta, there was a form of punishment so psychologically brutal that it didn't require chains, torture, or even a prison. It was known as social death. Sparta was not just a city, it was a system built on discipline, obedience, and collective identity. From childhood, citizens were taught that the group mattered more than the individual. To belong was everything. To be excluded was unbearable. When a Spartan was accused of cowardice, disloyalty, or failure to uphold the city's values, they were sometimes spared execution. Instead, they were subjected to something far worse. They were silenced. No one was allowed to speak to them. No one could acknowledge their presence. They could not participate in meals, rituals, or public gatherings. They were still alive, but socially erased. This punishment was called atimia, the loss of honor. The condemned person could walk the streets, but no one would look at them. They could speak, but no one would respond. Even family members were expected to treat them as if they no longer existed. In a society built entirely on communal life, this was devastating. Spartans believed that identity came from recognition. Without it, a person slowly unraveled. Some records suggest that those punished with atimia were forced to wear humiliating clothing, patched cloaks, half-shaven beards, so everyone could immediately recognize their disgrace. Children were taught not to imitate them. Adults were warned not to engage with them. Silence became a weapon. But Sparta was not alone. In ancient Athens, a similar, though more political practice existed: ostracism. Once a year, citizens gathered to vote on whether someone had become too powerful, too influential, or too dangerous to the balance of the city. No crime was required. If enough people wrote the same name on shards of pottery, that person was exiled for 10 years. They lost their voice. They lost their influence. They vanished from public life. Yet their property remained untouched. Their wealth stayed intact. The punishment wasn't about destruction. It was about removal. To be erased from conversation, decision-making, and memory, even temporarily, was enough to neutralize a threat. What's disturbing is how effective this was. There was no violence, no bloodshed, no spectacle, just silence and distance. Modern psychology tells us that social exclusion activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. The ancient world understood this intuitively. They weaponized it. Some historians believe these punishments worked so well because humans are wired to need acknowledgement, to be seen, to be heard. Unquote. Without that, the mind begins to fracture. And here's the unsettling part. These practices didn't disappear. They evolved. Public shaming, cancellation, social exile, different names, same mechanism. The ancient world discovered something uncomfortable about human nature. You don't need to destroy a person's body to break them. Sometimes all you need to do is pretend they no longer exist.
If you enjoyed this story, just imagine what's coming next. Subscribe so you don't miss anything. And follow me on my other social media links in the description and bio